Welcome to one of what I hope is many process videos where I guess we go behind the scenes and take a look at some paintings that are not speed paints. This is still a time lapse. I do not remember how long I spent on this, but I have 5 pieces of each of the members of the Bad Batch in a Peacoat. This is Echo. Um, and I wanted to try and study folds in fabric. Peacoats are coats that were typically worn by sailors. They're pretty hefty. They're a great fashion piece. I have one that I love. I think they're a great looking coat, and because the fabric is thicker, or can be thicker, the folds are very interesting. So, not only was this an opportunity to kind of study folds, but it was also a chance to kind of do some more portrait painting. And there you just saw me create a masking layer for when I start more painting so that I can keep everything contained on the area where I flatted everything in. I spent a long time on the line art for this because I had to kind of generate the faces, and because all the members of the Bad Batch are related, I also took a long pause in this. We'll come across a couple of pauses as it is the holiday season, so while I was doing this, I definitely had to get up and go get some packages from the front door. But because it's not a 1 hour speed paint, there are more opportunities for me to be interrupted. And that's okay. So, like I was saying, the members of the Bad Batch, I wanted them all to look similar. They are technically clones of one guy. They're cartoons, but I gave them all the same eye color and like the same eyebrows and tried to make their eyes look the same shape and stuff like that. So we've finished at least putting some darks on the fabric that's there, and I wanted to under render the coat and the fabric and put more emphasis on the character's face. And we'll come back to some of the strategies that I use to kind of help push the face forward and like not make the coat look so attention grabby. But during this, I had also gone and downloaded a bunch of brushes. First time I've done that since I started using Krita many years ago. Just to try some other stuff. So once I finish the eyes here or something like that, you will see me try just about every brush that I downloaded that was new. I've not used a glazing brush too much. That's actually what the 2 brushes that I kind of found that I really liked are 2 glazing brushes. And I use those quite a bit. Got another pause here for some reason. There's an arrow up there to remind me of where the light is coming from, which I don't really need, but it is kind of nice to have there. Echo also got a prosthetic limb. That one was based off of his Black Series figure. And I also gave him hearing aids. This is kind of a modern alternate universe, as people call it. So the more I looked at the coat, the more I felt like there was just like too much going on. I spent too much time looking at all those folds and emphasizing them, so I kind of removed some of them and pulled them out. Here is me forgetting how to do a multiply layer. I finally figured that out, and then just wanted to add a couple of darker areas, but not go too crazy on the coat. Just do enough to kind of get the form right there, and just testing out more brushes. Again, this is me really testing out brushes here shortly after I've added a little bit of red to the nose and the ears and stuff. I tried using a more blue multiply layer. I went back to kind of a red. I kind of wanted to see if any of the brushes I had downloaded if I could kind of figure out how to use them for blending at all, like blending colors out. And I just don't have any experience with those kinds of brushes. So I tried a bunch. This is just going to be a lot of me trying stuff. I actually pulled the brushes panel out of the sidebar so I could open it up really big, which the recording didn't get. But it'll reappear in the sidebar at some point here. So eventually I land on something that I'm like pretty happy with shortly. And what I ended up doing was actually just going back to a brush I had already been using before. And for these darker shadows, I just picked a more red color, and went with that and pulled out some more of those details. So at this point, I'm pretty happy with the face, just smoothing all of that stuff out. I come back to the jacket and the clothing, smooth out a couple more things, redden up his cheeks a little bit more, and then finally get around to rendering these metallic bits and pieces and those other details. Added some really quick highlights with a different brush that's like more gritty, I guess. Has harder edges for the highlights on the coat. And then to further kind of make the coat less ridiculous looking, I ended up copying the line art, like masking out most of it and then bringing out just the hard edges. Just the kind of the places where things overlapped, so that the folds were smoothed out a lot. I did the same thing on his face. And this is me really painfully pretending like I know how to do any kind of design work and making a terrible background, which you will be forced to stare at for a little bit here. I tried cropping it, hated that. I don't know what I was doing with the colors, but it's good to just try stuff sometimes, because then you know how not to do something. And this is what we actually ended up with Echo's name there on the right. This is the format that I'll use for all of them. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.